Sorry, starting video number two. So, like we said, with the advantages, we are in a global community. I think it's important that we are able to access the rest of the world, and by having innovative technology in the classroom, that does help that. Career opportunities, knowing how to code, knowing how to communicate, knowing how to self-regulate, all of that comes with innovation. Um, and teaching proper usage, making sure that the students are aware of how they should be acting when using the internet, when using computers, as opposed to how they might be using it with YouTube or with social media. Um, the disadvantages. Staff buy-in for us, I think, is pretty consistent. It's pretty consistently hard. Some people are all about learning how to use it properly, and some people are like, "Oh, it's just another fad. It's just another thing." So that could be part of the problem. Um, Cost. Like I've mentioned, we're struggling in private school. We're going to be doing significantly better than many schools who don't have access to things. However, we don't have a lot extra. I know when you hear private, it sounds better than it is. I promise when it comes to things like that. It is really difficult for us also to police internet use in the school. Teaching them the difference between proper use versus inappropriate use, how they're using it in the classroom. We are constantly catching students gaming, catching students messaging, and when we're trying to use it in a positive way, many of us, myself included at times, get discouraged and wind up putting the devices away completely and going old school. Uh, I'm trying hard not to do that, but I completely understand why other teachers might not try as hard. Training, again, the cost of the training, the willingness to go to the training. And as mentioned in the video that we watched, as a secondary school, we spend less time with students. So the student access is inconsistent. Have we experienced problems with cyberbullying or other inappropriate use? Yes, all the time. With high school students, we are experiencing varying degrees of cyberbullying and also deciphering um, what the students are calling cyberbullying versus what actually is cyberbullying. Um, Luckily, we haven't had big, serious instances of cyberbullying that I am aware of recently. That being said, in neighboring schools, there have been nightmares. Students who have committed suicide, students who have been publicly shamed in a huge way. And we do everything in our power to investigate when that does happen. Our bigger problems have come from the sending of inappropriate pictures and the requesting of inappropriate pictures. We all understand secondary school hormones, that is out of control with us. So when we find out about it, or we find out that it's sharing, we have to have a lot of hard conversations about, felonies, which is horrible. But again, this is not surprising. This is something that is going to happen in most secondary schools. When we find out about it, at least we know that we can try to nip it. And it's led to some really good and meaningful conversations with the students, and them understanding that they shouldn't be entertaining these options. And then we just have, your basic run-of-the-mill inappropriate messaging, gaming, inappropriate memes. They're high school students. They're going to do these things. We have to do our very best to kind of get that out of the culture, at least when they are in school. And it's a challenge. So while everything is great and the innovation is very, very important, super important, we are experiencing challenges, but we're not experiencing access challenges. And I think that we are very blessed in that way. So our challenges are not as much about the divide, but All right. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed.